Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. If you're part of the Indians front office, you should be doing exactly what the front office is doing right now. Nothing. I said last week that if the Tribe wins 8 out of the next 10 games, and they started with a 3-game sweep of Detroit, they'd be right back in the AL Central race. They've got 4 in Texas this week and then 3 over the weekend back home with the horrible Detroit Tigers. If they can get to 6.5 games out by the All-Star break, they know that the first 3 games after the break are in Cleveland versus Minnesota. As bad as this team has been at times this year, they're still good enough to overtake the Twins, who lack starting pitching and a closer. The goal is to win 85 games somehow, which should overtake Minnesota, and if not, that ought to be the second wild card number. It's still possible to have a little bit of fun at the corner of Carnegie and Ontario. Andy Baskin is here. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Monday night, it's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into our 23rd consecutive year, soon to be 24, and as always, exclusively here on cleveland.com. Andy Baskin from 92.3 The Fan is with us, and from soccer and hockey and softball and what else?
Lacrosse. You missed lacrosse.
I missed lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
You have to adopt more kids.
I was thinking about it. That's why I coach, because I don't have enough kids. So
right.
That's why I'm doing that.
But Father's Day is good when you have 17 kids, right?
I guess so. I got to tell you a funny story at the end.
Do it.
I did. I'll tell you now. How's that sound?
Yeah.
My wife made an appointment Friday and said appointment in our little calendar that we have. I'm like, what is this? And it was a Father's Day surprise. So I'm like, all right, let's go to an appointment. I wonder where we're going, what we're doing. And it's like all this cloud of intrigue and mystery. So we end up driving, and we pull up in front of a nail shop. And I'm like, whoa. And
nail, N-A-I-L.
Yeah, and pedicures.
Okay.
So I ended up getting
Let's
my
see.
pedicure. Yeah, I'm not going to put my feet up on TV.
How about your manicure?
No, I didn't do manicure. Are you kidding? I'm not doing that. I barely did that, but I didn't realize the world of anguish and pain women go through when they have a pedicure.
No,
I would do it again, though. Have you ever done it?
You've never had it before?
Never, no.
I think I've had it on vacation.
That's a vacation. Like, I like massages. Those always feel good, especially, if you get enough water and you make sure your muscles feel good. But when they brought out the cheese grater, I was like, The industrial grade cheese grater, too. It wasn't, they were like, and I felt so bad for the woman doing it. Biggest tip I think I've ever given in my entire life.
That brings us to a How Come Quickie that we have later. It's about tipping.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, you're a big tipper.
I am a 20%er.
Yeah. Well, okay, but all it takes is one waitress to say, that Andy Baskin from 92.3 The Fan stiffed me. That's all you need, one to do that.
All right, so question. You're out with someone else.
Yep.
They picked up the tab.
Yep.
And you glanced at the tip.
Do I change it if it's...
Do you leave? Do you wait till they walk away and throw a couple more bucks on the table?
Yeah.
Have you done
by
that?
like sign, I take a few away.
I've done.
RealLesLevine at gmail.com. Andy Baskin with us. Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw will join us. So there's a big trade, I understand, in the NBA over the past couple of days.
Yes. What were your thoughts? I haven't heard your thoughts yet.
My thoughts,
it's your show.
Not surprised. What I don't like is that the agents are taking over the game.
You could say that again.
And the agents are more important than the general manager.
Yeah, they are.
General manager says, all right, we need this kind of player, or we need this particular one. And some agent says, if you want this guy, you got to get this guy. There's something wrong with that.
The big question that's going to come into play on this one is the $4 million that the Lakers will owe Anthony Davis because he was traded, because there's a trade clause in his contract. So the Lakers will now owe $4 million. That $4 million, now there's some other things going on in the trade, but that $4 million tips them, tips the difference between having a max salary player and not having a max salary player.
You're over the limit?
Yeah.
Oh, so they write the check. What's the big deal?
Who writes the check?
Los Angeles.
Yeah, the Lakers write the check. They can't bring in a max player.
So
my question
hold on a minute.
is Rich
Kemba
Paul,
Walker? Is Kemba Walker a max player?
I would
I wouldn't think so.
I don't know.
Okay.
We talked about it today. Jeff said yes.
Okay.
So I think, you're asking yourself, you're Rich Paul, and you're saying, hey, to your client, hey, we got you the team you wanted to go to. You're now playing with LeBron. You can waive that $4 million because we want to bring in another guy.
Or he can say, no, I signed the contract. You helped me work it out, and now you're taking $4 million away from me?
Again, this comes back to Rich Paul, doesn't it?
Yes,
This falls
and LeBron
right,
James.
And LeBron. LeBron's going to turn around and go, man, did you see these rings I've got from Miami? Remember when I took a haircut? Remember that haircut I took? You're going to have to take a little bit of a haircut if you want to play here because we're going to be able to bring in another player if you don't take the $4 million. In fact, I thought it was interesting. We talked to somebody today on the show. Now I can't remember who it was. They may just write the check. LeBron may just write the $4 million check. Yeah, why not?
If he wants Davis that badly.
Or Rich is going to have to find a $4 million commercial or something for Davis, which he could do, which is possible.
If it's tied in with, I don't see Davis as being this big guy who endorses too many things. But if you include LeBron, like the Chris Paul and Harden, they did all that together. Might be.
Let's see if he takes a haircut or not.
So I read something before the trade was made that already, I think we talked about it on the show last Thursday, that the Lakers were already favored in Las Vegas to win the NBA title before the trade was made, and thinking they might be getting Kyrie instead.
I am not buying the Kyrie to Laker thing. Now watch, it'll happen, and we'll all be.
It's probably going on right now.
He's probably out there right now having a steak, and Kevin Love's probably calling them on the phone this time. I think that I really feel comfortable thinking that he's going to the Nets.
I do too.
But I don't have a problem with him going to the Nets.
Didn't the Durant thing, the injury, just change the whole dynamics?
It did for the moment, and I think it panicked a lot of people, and I think a lot of people said, whoa, what's here? I don't think Durant's ever going to be the same again. Do you?
No.
I mean, when you see the window shade effect on his calf or the muscle, whatever it was, and you see that flicker in his calf, you're thinking, man, that can't be good. How do you come back from that? Ask Bogey Cousins.
I don't know how you do.
Same injury.
Yeah, I don't know how you do. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. So where does that put the Cavaliers? Or doesn't it?
At 200-1? Isn't that what they were today?
Yeah.
I thought I saw Westgate had them at 200-1.
Yeah, let's take a look at the championship odds, which we don't have, but Andy has a great memory, and I think
I can make them up. No, 200-1 is what we were talking about today.
Forget the 200-1, the Las Vegas. What is it? Right now, you've got the fifth pick in the draft.
Right.
And David Griffin may want to, I don't know, he's got 2 first picks in the first 4. He may not want it. He may not want them both. He may want to trade.
What do you want? Yeah, I would take the first pick, but we don't have enough assets.
No.
I don't think we have nearly the assets to even. The only way.
No, but look at, because of his relationship with the Cavaliers front office, not Dan Gilbert, the rest of it. He might, the Kobe Altman and Gansey, they may have a way of getting to each other.
Boy, I'd like to be a wishful dreamer. I just don't think we have the assets. I don't know what kind of a package the Cavaliers could put together to get Zion Williamson.
No, nobody's getting him.
No, and so you're talking about moving to 4?
Yeah.
The only way the Cavs would want to move to 4, Les, is if they thought someone else was moving into 4. And
otherwise
scenario,
let it fall wherever it falls.
Otherwise you sit at 5 and you get the player that you want.
Yeah.
But the only reason Griff would do that, based on friendship, is if he has an amazing deal sitting in front of him. Right. The Cavs have a must-have player that's left that they want, and he said, hey, I'll give you guys a shot for the 4 if you want it. Otherwise, it's just one spot. You might almost be better off moving backwards.
Yeah, because you'll probably get the same guy.
Yeah, you'd still get the same guy if you move backwards. So we'll see what happens.
216-575-0403. We have a Facebook question that is, would you make the Lakers the favorite? Who would you make the favorite to win the championship if you had to say it right now? Assuming that Kawhi Leonard will not be with Toronto.
I don't know how you can't say the Lakers going into next year. I also want to see what Golden State looks like next year going into next season. Yeah. Even without Durant, you still have to look at them and say, if their team is still pretty much intact, I'd still like them in the West, but it's hard not to look at the Lakers now.
All right, so we asked people on Facebook what they thought. Scott Matthews says no, he wouldn't make it. LeBron will be 35. David Sweeney says I would not. They can't play with just 5 players. Rick May says at this point in time, yes, but once the draft is done and all free agents have been moved around, some of the team could emerge as a favorite.
That 35 is something that no one talks about.
LeBron.
No one. Now, LeBron was playing great basketball again this year. Numbers-wise for him. ISO ball. get LeBron the ball, let LeBron do everything. He was great, but then he hurts his groin. And they sent him out at the end of the year because they weren't going to the playoffs.
Right.
There was no
All
reason
right.
to.
So that situation, then Thompson, then KD, Durant, and who else am I thinking of? Well, LeBron is the third. What this proves is that if you keep winning and you keep going to the playoffs and deep into the playoffs, the body is not made to take that tension, that pressure, that you're talking about 8 finals for LeBron in a row.
100 games a year at least.
100 games a year. You're playing till
800
now.
games in 8 years.
Yeah.
800 NBA
The body's
games.
not made, and he's the epitome of the body.
Right.
And
Who's left from his draft class? Kyle Korver?
was he in the same draft?
Yeah, I mean, there aren't many guys left from that class.
He played 6 minutes a game.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting how his body holds up. Now, I wouldn't bet against LeBron if they're close to a playoff.
And everybody thought he was done after last year. He's right back in the thick of it now.
And he's got time to heal. That's the one thing.
And
What's he doing to his body now to rejuvenate for next season?
216-575-0403. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. Andy Baskin is here from 92.3 The Fan, 10 to 2 with Baskin and Phelps. And we'll come back in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's take a look at birthdays for the day. I think this is one of the great nicknames in all of sports history.
Dave Concepcion?
No, Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch.
That is a good one.
Bobby Bell was born on this date. 1947, Patio Furniture, born on that day.
I went to her barn. Wait, is that a guy or a girl?
That's I don't know. We just get the names.
Okay.
Davey Concepcion, Super Joe, seen on the left.
One of my favorite guys.
Venus Williams. What a guy. What a great guy. Let's take a look at this date in sports history, June 17th, 1994. O.J. Simpson and Al Cowlings had no trouble with Los Angeles freeway traffic on this date.
Did you see what O.J.'s been up to the last 24 hours?
No.
He's now on Twitter. If you get a chance, take a look at his first posting.
That is something I don't think I'll do, but you can tell me what he said.
I watched a little. Just you watch it yourself. I'm not going to. He is now on Twitter.
He found the person?
He is now on Twitter. Les, I won't go down. I've been down your roads before, and I have found myself standing at the edge like a lemming, catching myself at the last second.
By the way, Brian, our producer, is not here tonight. He got married over the weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
And we had a little get-together on Thursday.
Soiree.
And I made a speech.
How'd it go?
And I thought it went great. It was a short speech. I said, marriage is one of the great institutions we have in America, and so is Alcatraz.
So my dad at my wedding, and you'll appreciate this, said, marriage is one of the great institutions in America, and who wants to be in an institution?
Well, maybe I stole it from him.
Nah, I don't know. You said Alcatraz. That was a new twist.
It's a new twist.
I was very excited.
I took the body of it.
I was excited to hear a different ending.
Yeah, well, okay. Cavaliers draft comes up. All right, so they're in the 4th spot.
5.
What do they need?
You're saying they want to move
The
up?
5th spot, I mean. What do they need?
They need the best player available in
No
the
matter
draft
who.
at that point. Doesn't matter what position they play.
You have
does
faith in
not
John
matter.
Beeline? Looks like Beeline will be given a lot of authority in this pick.
Did we have this argument on the air, or was it Jeff and I talking about how much authority Beeline should have? I think he should have a
You and Jeff, because I don't listen to the show.
Okay, good. So it must have been me and Jeff. So my point is, if you're going to bring in a guy like Beeline, a guy who's a miracle worker of taking guys that are just under blue chippers
Right.
and making them into great players, that's what you're looking for in the draft. So you've got to take a look and say, okay, Cam Reddish, is he just below being that super
Or
blue?
did he disappoint?
We all thought he was.
Yeah, or did his college career disappoint himself and others? I mean,
I
you
think
want
they're
the
in a
guy
tough
on the way
spot.
up, not the guy on the way down.
I think one of the problems we have with judging college basketball players is that we judge them the same way as we do, or we don't judge them the same way as we do college football players. So let's say a college football player opts out and doesn't want to play in the bowl game,
Right.
gets tweaked in the middle of the season, says, I'm done. I'm going to wait for the draft. Oh, that's okay. We get it because he's going to play football for the rest of his life.
Basketball,
But if you're a freshman, excuse me, if you're a freshman and you're playing basketball at Duke and you got all these other guys around you and things aren't going perfect and you're hesitant on doing some things here and there, the basketball guys will kill you. The basketball analysts will kill
All right,
you.
let's give you an
saying
example.
You're not a team player. You don't want to be there. Why would you want them on your team in the NBA?
is Kyrie
which is
the
much different
example?
than football.
at Duke, 11 games.
But we knew what Kyrie was coming out. And I still think they rolled the dice. Don't you think the Cavaliers rolled the dice on Kyrie?
I don't remember who
Knowing
the
how
second
small
pick
the
was.
body of work was. Was Yashkovich?
I was going to say Valanciunas.
Yeah, Valanciunas was in that draft. I'm trying to remember who else.
All right, so
I was at the draft.
when they made the pick, I was all in favor of it.
Yeah, of Kyrie?
Yeah.
At the time, especially with the draft being in Newark that year, and like everything felt right. It didn't matter how many college basketball games he played in.
Right.
And that he hustled to come back and play in the NCAA tournament. That he was willing to overcome all odds to get back into the tournament. And that kind of told you a little bit about his character.
True.
I don't think that rule applies to football the way it does in basketball.
Did they have any,
And we're talking about younger guys, too.
That's
true. The other thing.
That's true. Did the Cavaliers have any knowledge of the Earth not being round and whatever else Kyrie's up to?
It isn't? It is? It isn't?
I think it is.
Are you okay with Kyrie going to the Nets?
Am I okay with it?
Are you okay with it? I mean, do you have where's your
I have
ill
no-
will factor towards Kyrie?
Okay, it's not as bad as it was to LeBron. I spent way too much time wishing LeBron would lose games. Didn't want him to get hurt.
The first time he left, right? This time you don't
For
care,
sure.
right?
Well, yeah, I care. Yeah, I don't think he needed to leave second time.
I don't know that he did either, but if he wanted to leave, we got a championship. He was a free agent. I wasn't mad at him.
We didn't get 2 championships.
Okay, we didn't get 2 championships.
Well, we got 1. We could have. Don't you think?
I
Getting
think
through
we would
the
have won a
East-
championship this year if Kyrie stays
Yeah,
and LeBron stays.
and they should have won a championship when you can pull out the Golden State argument that when Love and Kyrie got hurt in the first year, Cavaliers should have won that.
It's weird how we now look at Golden State's dynasty.
You can
because
pick
they
apart
lost.
every win, every title. You can pick it apart.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no. Is there really? I mean, you want to go back to the one the Cavaliers won? People say, well, Draymond got suspended,
Well,
but they still
that-
had to play
that-
games after that.
yeah.
That's like the Ohio State argument when they beat Miami, that everyone wants to talk about one play that may or may not have been a pass interference call, which I thought was a pass interference call, but they want to pick that play apart, and I ask you, what was the spread on that game before they went into it? Miami was a heavy favorite
Right.
going into that game. And by the way, where was Miami all throughout that game? Why are you leaning it on one play
One
at the
play.
end of the game?
In
Why did
overtime.
that get to overtime?
Yeah.
How did we get there?
Let's take a look at some of the, not the first 3 picks expected to be taken in the draft, but let's take a look at Darius Garland, see what he's up to from Vandy. And 19 years old, 16.2 points per game, 2.6 assists, 54% field goal. Strengths, he's good at creating the shot, a great ball handler. His weaknesses, needs work as a facilitator, and lack of defensive upside.
Will New Orleans take him at 4? That's the question.
That is the question. There's DeAndre Hunter, a forward out of the championship Virginia team.
Cavaliers.
He's 6'8", the Cavaliers. 21 years old, 15.2 points a game, 5.1 rebound, 52% field goals. His strengths, arguably the best defender in college basketball, prolific and efficient scorer. Weaknesses, lacks a degree of explosiveness, doesn't have the most natural shooting stroke. Then you have Jared Culver, guard out of Texas Tech, went a long way in the tournament. He's 6'5", 20 years old, 18.5 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, 3.7 assists. Physical around the rim, doesn't shy away from contact, great defensively, praised for his work ethic. The weaknesses, inconsistent shooter, unnatural pause at the top of his release, below average ball handler. I don't let those last two scare me away.
Kobe White is another name that you wouldn't have up there, but North Carolina is another guy. His name comes into play as a top 5 pick too.
Right.
So we'll see if he gets in there. Hunter was interesting. We had a guy on from Virginia, and we were just talking a little bit about him. One of the knocks on him, according to NBADraft.net, is kind of his team leadership and his heart desire to be a leader. He's kind of a soft-spoken guy, and so it's weird that seems to come into play. When you're
did he get
at
invited
basketball,
did people get invited to his birthday party?
Everybody got invited, but no one showed up. Is that weird? I don't understand it. Kevin Costner was there.
Well, that's true.
No, I don't know about his birthday party, but I do know that there were questions about his leadership ability. You're 21 years old. You're coming out of college. I don't need you to be a leader the second you walk on a floor with an NBA team.
Other than LeBron, when the Cavs were really great for the 4 or 5 year period, who was the leader besides LeBron?
For the Cavs?
Yeah.
You look at the guys that weren't playing, Richard Jefferson.
Yeah. Well, you want guys playing.
Yeah. Those guys, they have street cred, but they don't have game cred.
Mike Miller.
Yeah. Champ. James Jones.
Right.
Hey, they'll always
got a lot of rings.
I mean, if that wasn't the most prolific LeBron statement of all time, there'll always be room for Champ on my roster.
Wow.
He said that.
He did say
on
that.
my roster. And I'm
not the team's roster, his roster.
His roster.
216-575-0403. Andy Baskin, who's on my roster here on the show, is with us. Catch the excitement of live harness racing. You can do that at Northfield Park every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday evening with a post time 6 p.m. Open early at noon for every day for simulcast action from all over the world. And the weekly Sunday contest, top prize $500 each week. Lady Luck's Clubhouse open every Saturday. Buffet for just $15.95. It's free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Andy Baskin and I return in a moment, and we've got a How Come Quickie coming up and more, exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
My basement was a disaster. We tried carpet, we tried tile on our uneven basement floor, but nothing worked.
Moisture, dampness, even flooding will not harm Nature Stone. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of June and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
A little bit of a homecoming here for
Yeah, man, it feels weird wearing this orange, man. I don't even know where this thing came from. I thought we were playing we were playing against Joe Hayden and them. I don't know. Either way, though, I'm excited to be back in Cleveland. I love this city to death. I've told everyone knows how much I love it. From saying Cleveland Heights High School on Sunday nights when I get introduced to just trying to get back in the community and give back as much as I can and show my face and support the guys that are obviously here playing and getting back in the community.
Travis, we don't know Kareem Hunt very well yet. You obviously do. What is Cleveland getting in him now he's with the Browns? And do you think that he will make the most of his second chance?
I think so, without a doubt. I mean, me and Kareem have been good friends ever since he got to Kansas City. I mean, another fellow Clevelander, Northeast Ohio guy. I think you guys are getting an unbelievable athlete, somebody that can change the game with 1 or 2 carries, 1 or 2 touches, and really give you a chance to win. And he's an unbelievable player. It ripped our hearts out when he got released from Kansas City, but to see him get another chance, I would hope and I would think that he's going to make the absolute most of it, without a doubt. You know, as much as you try and stay away from the actual situation that happened, man, Kareem has been nothing but a good friend, a good teammate. Been in the community, helping out, trying to make a difference in other people's lives, and you know, that's what's real. And you know, everyone has their I don't want to get into it too much, but everyone has their has things that go wrong in their life, and it's how you come out of those situations that determine your true character. And that's, I'll just leave it at that. I think what we said is true, and that Kareem is going to hopefully make the best of his situation.
Just your thoughts on the Browns being one of the up-and-comers and looking to challenge you guys in KC?
Yeah, without a doubt, I think it's exciting. You know, I've always had a kind of a little cheering section in my heart for the Browns, just growing up in Cleveland. Even though I was a part of the decade growing up where they shipped him off to Baltimore, I was pretty hurt about that. But when we got Tim Couch and the gang back in town, it was like they never left, right? So I'm happy for the city. I couldn't be more happy for the city. I think it's electrifying. Obviously, everyone wants to talk about it, and even more so, everyone wants to see it. So I think it's going to be something that's going to get this crowd and this Cleveland fan base rocking and rolling, and like we know how. This is actually my high school basketball coach, just passed away not too long ago. Coach Jim Capoletti was at Cleveland Heights for over 40 years.
Yeah, I covered
Coach Cap was my guy, man, and unfortunately he passed. And I was at a ceremony before I came here. Had a lot of Heights legends in the building, and it was just good to see everybody's familiar face. Got to hug a lot of people that I've been wanting to hug for a long time, and got to say thank you to a lot of people that have helped me get to where I am today. So shout out to Coach Cap, the family, love you guys.
Oh, that was really cool.
It really is. We both knew Cap.
Yeah, what's interesting is he didn't play for Coach Cap. He played for Coach Bogus. He played hockey. Travis and his brother Jason both played hockey at Cleveland Heights.
You know, I don't remember as a kid, I can't tell you the first Cleveland kid who played for the Browns, how long ago that would have been. I don't think, you know, Chuck Noll might have been. Mm-hmm. You know, you got the Kelsey brothers, you got a whole bunch of other guys. And I don't remember any Clevelanders in the 60s, 70s. Can you? Did you know it?
Oh, boy. Man, that's a great question.
I mean, Paul Warfield was Warren, so I'm not counting that.
Right.
Lou Groza was Martin's Ferry, so I'm not counting that. Chuck Noll was went to Benedictine. I'm not sure where he lived. But you got a ton of Cleveland kids playing in the NFL these days.
Now, it seems like there are more now than ever.
I can think of
12
12 to 15 right off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, the pipeline from Glenville helped all that too. But, I mean, you look at Cleveland Heights, when he was young playing football, Cleveland Heights never made a playoff game until, I mean, they did expand the playoffs a little bit, but Jeff Rotsky was the first one to actually put them on the map.
Rotsky must be a phenomenal coach.
Well, I think what's interesting is his ability to take team, and I look at him, and I don't know if you've ever been to one of his practices.
I've been to games.
He's intense, but he loves his kids. And whether it was at Maple Heights,
and all
or
he wants to do is he wants to get him scholarships. That's his whole thing.
I mean, that's his MO. I also think that the argument about kids that get recruited to parochial schools or private schools, the whole thing with Ted Ginn this year, to me, I find it interesting because I just don't know where we're going with this whole thing with recruiting in high school, not recruiting in high school. Are you allowed to? Are you academically bringing kids into your own school? I don't know where we're going with this thing. And I do think that if we have
where do you want it to go?
I think we should have a public school champion and a private school champion. I really think that's the way it should go.
I mean,
think the Ohio High School Athletic Association they care about football, and I'll leave it at that. I see, and they care about basketball, But I see the Olympic sports, I guess maybe the non-football, non-basketball sports, and I see them prohibiting kids from getting better. Case in point, softball. Okay, so you take, and this is crazy because they govern 7th and 8th grade. I'm gonna give you 7th and 8th grade softball. So you've got 7th and 8th graders that are playing softball, girls softball, fast pitch, and they cannot even practice with a summer league team because they're playing for their school. Well, you would think the honor would be to play for your school, wouldn't it?
Yes.
You'd rather play for your school than the summer league team. These girls don't want to do it. They don't want to play for their school anymore. They want to play for the summer league
Why,
team.
it's more games?
It's more games. It's more practices. It's better competition.
Theoretically, it shouldn't be more friends because they should be on the team, the school team with them.
You're actually more friends is true because you're pulling kids from other communities out of those teams. Now, I'm not hip on all the travel. I'm not hip on blowing kids up to being bigger than they actually are. But I think the state hinders. Like, why would you hold back a 7th and 8th grader from being able to get practice with their summer league team and not be able to play games with their summer league? We're talking about 7th and 8th graders. Right. I'm not talking about JV or varsity players. Well, and I don't get it. And don't even get me started on hockey because I just think the state has no business being involved.
Well, as an example, you have two kids, 11 and 12?
14 and 11.
14 and 11. So your whole life is driving them to games now.
No, it is, absolutely.
But
I love it. I coach too.
No, I understand it, but I don't know how families can do that if they have two kids and everything's concurrent.
It's hard. I've got a friend who's got 4 daughters. One daughter's 14, twins at 12, and then one who's 9. And they divide and conquer. I hear him say it all the time. Who's at the game? The mother, the father. Divide and conquer. Huh. There are some really cool things out there now that help parents that can watch their kids while they're still playing. And so, like, there's MVP Cast, which I think is unbelievable. It's an app where if you have 2 cell phones, you can show someone the game anywhere. You just invite them with your email.
Right. And
there's graphics packages on there, and it's not that expensive. And I did it. My daughter was lucky enough to play in the International Children's Games, and so we did these hockey games coming back to Cleveland. We had all these people watch. It was fun. Like, I did make-believe commercials and stuff. It was a blast.
Right.
But it looks like a broadcast. And then you've also got, like, I got to tell you the one app, and I'm not here to sell apps, but that Game Changer app is a game changer.
And what is that?
It's a app that lets you know what your kids are doing. It's like if you've ever gone to ESPN and watched a Major League Baseball game on ESPN, but you're not watching the game, you're watching, like, what's going on in the game, strike, ball. It's almost like Ernie Harwell, if you think about it.
Right.
Calling a Tigers game, or how the Indians used to call. Why am I forgetting the Indians play-by-play guy?
Jack Graney.
Jack Graney would call it off for ticker tape. You're actually getting that same kind of a feeling while you're watching it. So you're like, oh, what did my kid do last time up? It's really neat. I wonder where we're just like all explosive on youth sports. Everyone's into what our jerseys look like, how much are we going to be at practice. Coaches who don't want their kids at 13 or 14 years old to play multiple sports, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You've got to let your kids play as many sports as they can.
Yeah, you
let them play. It's good for all the sports.
First of all, you don't know how good the kid's going to be. He may hate it at the beginning because he's not very good or as good as his friend, but if you let him play, he or she may turn out to be pretty good.
Never cut a kid, right?
Never cut a kid.
Never
Hal
cut a
evidence,
kid.
no question about it. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Andy Baskin is here, 92.3 The Fan, and he's with Jeff Phelps on that. Sokolowski's University Inn. Andy, they've been with me every day for 26 years.
Yeah, the food is so good.
It is unbelievable. Good. Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated restaurant. It is the winner of the James Beard Foundation Award. Only 5 in the country get it every year, and nobody from Cleveland has ever gotten it other than Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. Open 11 to 3 Monday through Friday and Saturday nights for dinner. Andy and I return in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Waitresses and waiters and the tip. How come waiters and waitresses do the same amount of work when you order a $30 entree or a $12 entree, yet they get a tip based on how much money is spent? Explain that one to me.
I have no idea. I've never really thought about that. I heard a horror story today. You know, big Father's Day weekend, people going out for dinner. I know somebody who works at one of those steak places.
Right.
And I won't give it away. But they had a table that had a bill. There were 25 people at the table. The bill was like $500. So that kind of tells you what kind of a steak
That's
was. Yeah. So the bill was like $500. There were 2 servers on the table. And the tip they got, and I knowing the person, I'm assuming
I'm about to shudder here.
They had to split a $16 tip.
Oh, come on.
25 people at the table.
These were adults? No,
Adults.
I know that like
Adults.
high school kids may not know how to do it, which is absurd.
These were not high school kids. 25 people for a Father's Day dinner.
Horrible.
They left a $16 tip.
All right, if you weren't in the group, were you?
No, I was talking to the person
If
who
you were in the group
worked
and
there.
you're walking out and you see somebody left $16, what do?
Oh my God! I turn around and on that kind of a tip.
Yeah.
On a $4 or $5 or $500 bill.
Right.
I would give the server a tip. I would turn around and do it myself. The only person I ever tipped over, I guess, is that what that would be called?
Over tipping.
Over tipping, whoever the
Sounds
person
like
was,
Larry David.
was my dad.
What are you talking about?
My dad was like 15% on everything. It was 15 no matter what.
But 15 then became
15.
18 and it became 20. And I'll tell you something. When you leave a tip based on the whole bill, including tax, the tax is already 7%. So you're really tipping, if you tip 20%, you're really tipping 27%.
Yes.
Not that they don't deserve it.
Yeah, I was a bartender, so that's why I always look at I even on bad service, I still leave a decent tip. Because
if it's real bad service?
As well as I know, how many times you've heard stories of people who are professionals that are well known, and I'm not saying I'm not anywhere near there.
No, but
you just, the last thing you want, because, our lives are based on reputation. Their lives are based on reputation.
Yeah.
We've heard superstars in this town that leave no tip at all on huge bills. And you don't know if they're true or not, and it doesn't matter. It's like a good doctor. Now you can write a review about a doctor, and who knows what was going into the situation? Who knows if the person who wrote the review didn't pay their bill on time, and so all they want to do is get paid, like all of us. Like everyone just wants to get paid. And now we've got, Yelp and all these other services where you can go online. Teachers, doctors freak out about that. You go in and write a bad review about a doctor, those guys sweat it because they don't want. They're all about reputation and referral.
When you go to a doctor for the first time, do you look for his diploma or where he ranked in his class?
I normally say,
"Go Bucks."
What were your grades the last year?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I had some kind of procedure. Oh, I had LASIK eye surgery done.
Oh.
It was a great deal. Great deal. I did it in 2000, and my eyes are still like I would never know the difference. And as I laid down to do the procedure, I said, "This might be a bad time to ask, but how many of these have you done before?" And he's like, "Thousands." I'm like, "You got it. Go ahead."
Okay, so here's a trick that waiters and waitresses pull on me.
Okay.
They must know when I come in, or somebody says Les Levine is at table 4, and right when they're doing whatever they do at the end of the meal, and they're about to hand the check to me, they say, "Mr. Levine, I really enjoy your show."
You're done. You're not the only one they do that to. And then
Can't
once
they
they
tell
start,
me that at the beginning so I can decide how they did in the rest of the meal?
And then if they know there are people you don't like, they start cutting on them. It's
Right.
like 15, 20, 25, 30%, 40%.
216-575-0403. I mentioned earlier about the Indians. What are your thoughts about? I know Detroit sucks. I understand that.
I thought the Mud Hens were okay.
But a win is a win. So tell me what you're thinking.
3. I think the Indians have a big series right now with Texas. It's not must win. It's a big series because if for some reason the Twins don't cool off, and there's a chance that might happen. I mean, they're hitting the long ball as well as anybody. Right. They still need help in pitching.
Sure.
They need some help in other places. But right now in the Central, they're doing everything they need to do. I do think you should keep your eye on the wild card. I do think if you're a half game back on the wild card, you're okay. You're still in the hunt.
What are they, a game behind Texas now?
Texas and
Boston.
And Boston. Yeah. And Tampa's got the first spot, and they were up by 3, I think, going into today. 4 yesterday.
Doable.
But you've got to stay within a game of 1 or 2 teams. And the math on the wild card isn't about it's not about the percentage back. It's not about the games back, because I think it's harder to jump somebody. It's way harder to jump in the wild card than it is.
Well, because there's 2 or 3 or 4
right.
teams.
So if you've got to jump 3 or 4 or 5 teams, forget about it. It's not happening. Even if you're 3 back or 2 back. But when you're half game back, I think you can accept that. Now just accept the fact that if you can pick up that half game and maintain, the same way the Twins are maintaining in the Central, now your odds become better. It's all about juggling. I mean, that's really what it is.
The odds also become better because all the complaints about, well, it's a horrible division, that's when you should now take charge. The horrible division, you're going to be playing them at the last month of the season. So if you're close, you've got.
But so is Minnesota.
Yeah, but I'm talking about for the wild card.
Okay.
Because a win over Detroit counts the same as a win over the Yankees. So the wild card might be interesting because you'll have Kansas City, Chicago, and Detroit in addition to Minnesota. But my point on Minnesota is if you can get to 6 games before the All-Star break, then you come out of the break playing them.
Yeah.
You can get yourself right back in this thing. 10 games sounds a lot, but not necessarily.
It's not insurmountable.
No.
But it's the math of the whole thing. It's we got to win on the nights the Twins lose. We got to do what they do every night.
And
it's
when
hard.
You play
it's not easy.
When you play them head-to-head, you got to beat them.
Absolutely. You have to beat them head-to-head.
216-575-0403. Mike Clevinger
I'm excited.
Pitches tonight. I'm surprised they wouldn't have pitched him yesterday against an easier team.
I don't know why
to get him back.
Maybe they thought he would be better against Texas. Maybe they wanted to fly him down a day early to get him to Texas. I didn't see him. I wasn't looking for him in the dugout yesterday. Did you see him in the dugout yesterday?
I did not.
So maybe they fly him down.
How would I know
early.
who it was? Oh,
he's not too tough to figure out. You guys have the same hair, same stylist, same barber.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, an update on that.
On your barber?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He's been doing my hair almost 40 years. Tommy.
Tommy from Seville?
No.
Not the barber?
Different barber. So he has, by my calculations, he has cut my hair 493 times. The 500th, number one, is going to be free. That's number one.
Right.
And we're going to take a camera crew out and film it. Because there are people who think...
It's perfect.
People who think that this is not my real hair and I drop it off at Tommy's and then pick it up.
His real hair.
Then I pick it up later that day.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I just think it's weird that you color it gray. I don't know why you do that. That's weird.
Actually, I've had 50 shades of it.
Only you can get away with that joke. Only you.
216-575-0403.
Have you really calculated you've been to this guy 500 times?
Well, if I've been every 4 to 5 weeks over as many years as I've done it.
Okay, so my mom is 82, and her one vice in life is getting her hair done once a week.
That's a vice?
It is when you think about how much money my dad spent on her getting her hair done. Like, we went back and calculated it. You know,
how much money?
How much money she's probably been doing.
And an 18% tip.
Oh, I didn't even think about the tip. I didn't even put that into there. We figured,
but your mother's beautiful.
Well, she's doing good.
Yeah.
She's doing good for where she's at in life. She's my mom. It was Father's Day, not Mother's Day. Do I really have to say nice things?
No.
No, I love my mom.
No, you don't. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday. With the post time at 6 p.m. at Northfield Park. Catch the excitement of live harness racing each and every day. As I mentioned, open early every day for simulcast action from all over the world. That's at noon. The weekly Sunday contest, top prize $500 a week. And Lady Luck's Clubhouse open every Saturday with a buffet, just $15.95. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Andy Baskin and I return in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
I got bad news from John Patrick, who submits daily double quickies.
Yeah?
Our printer's all goofy, and we couldn't.
Oh, I can see it. You want me to read
No, you can't. Don't read it. Just look at that. You can see. You don't know. What is that? Oh, I can guess what that one is.
Yeah.
And that one I have no idea.
Here, I can help you. I see
Okay.
it.
Well, this one here.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying, it goes longer than that.
It goes longer.
Yeah, I don't
Somehow
see that. Yeah.
Let's
Sorry,
see if
dude,
these.
you're out. Bye. Are you checking your quickies?
Yes.
We proof them now?
Yes, I got caught on one
did you?
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Les.
It's okay.
I got a tipping story, too, if you want.
Yeah, go ahead while I'm doing this.
All right, so we were talking about great tipping stories. When I was traveling with the Indians, and I was doing the pre- and post-game show for the Indians on Fox, I was in New York. I was in New York for something, and then I was meeting the team, I think in Chicago. Okay. So I was flying from New York to Chicago, and I was really hungry, and I stopped in a restaurant in the airport in Newark, and I think it was like a Max and Irma's. And so I'm sitting there at the table, and all of a sudden I pick my head up. I'm the only one at the table. I'm sitting there eating by myself, and there's these booths. There's 3 booths next to me, and I'm sitting there, and I pick my head up, and I look. In the last booth, it's Cleveland's own Drew Carey.
Wow.
So Drew's sitting there, and I don't want to be like, Drew Carey's over there. I'm going to go say hi. I don't want to be that guy.
He didn't say famous radio TV guy Andy Baskin?
No, I don't think he knew I was.
Okay.
So, but what I did do at the time was I had a bag, like a travel bag, and the travel bag said Cleveland Indians on it. So I was kind of hoping, so I'm sitting there and I'm eating, and I'm like trying to shift my bag that says Indians on it, so maybe he'll say, hey, Indians, go Indians, or something as he walks by. So I thought it was pretty cool, and it was just like, I was going to get his attention, but I'm like, I don't want to bother him. So he's getting up to leave, and he walks out, and I'm like, hey, Drew, big fan. I'm from Cleveland, and thank you for all you do for the city. He was like, hey, how you doing? And the Indians were going to play Chicago, and we were talking about the wild card at the time, and we were talking about teams to walk out for, and he's like, hey, man, I got to go. And so I'm like, okay, I'll see you later. So now the waitress, and I looked over, he had like a grilled cheese sandwich. I think that was it. It was like, and it was maybe a salad, and there's no way his bill was more than $20, and this was even in an airport. And the waitress walks over to his table and looks, and she's like, oh, no, he didn't. And I was like, oh, my God, Drew Carey just stiffed the waitress. She goes, oh, no, he didn't. And it's so loud, everybody in the restaurant can hear it. And she goes, boom. She picks it up, and she goes, Drew Carey just left me $100 tip.
Oh, nice.
And everybody was clapping. It was great.
Yeah.
And I think the lesson to be learned there was people are watching even if you don't think they are.
Yeah, well, we just heard a story about somebody on our crew, a relative, worked at a restaurant, didn't know Shaq.
Right.
It was Shaq or Barkley? Who was it?
Shaq.
Yeah. Nobody didn't know who Shaq was, and he left on a $30 bill, left $100.
It's awesome. Those are but no one tells those stories.
We just did.
But you hardly ever hear those stories.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's go.
Peggy Mayer. How come a chicken farmer's favorite car is a coupe?
I've heard that one before, haven't I?
Yeah, well, I got to be here till 7.
Come on, Shecky, let's go.
Let's go. My favorite Shecky Green story. Ready for this?
What, do you have another how come quickie?
Yeah, I got
me
lots.
hanging. Give me a Shecky story.
Cleveland Bill. How come after completing his theory of relativity, Einstein found out that he had lots of space-time on his hands? Mr. Gullible. How come when I lose the TV controller, it's always hidden in some remote location?
Excellent. It's an 8.
How come I wrote a song about tortillas, but it turned out to be a rap?
5.
Here's John Patrick. Unfortunately, technical difficulties won't let me do the second one. First one is, how come you can never tell if Don King is having a bad hair day?
Good point. That's 9.
I guess we could guess what it is. The checkout girl asked me if I found.
No, I have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, it's cut off.
That could be a new. That could be a new segment.
Finish the how come quickie.
Yes. Yes.
How come less?
Exactly. Where was I? I was going to tell you a story.
You were going to tell me about Shecky Green.
Oh, Shecky Green. He's in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. He was in Las Vegas. And they put him up, whatever hotel he was staying at. I assume they could have put him in the hotel, but they gave him a house to stay in.
Oh, cool.
And he drove in about 3 o'clock in the morning, and drunk as could be, and drives right through the carport and into the swimming pool.
Oh, no.
The noise it made woke up all the neighbors, and they called 911. And the police and firemen come out to the house, and they get in and they get into the pool and they start wading, W-A-D-I-N-G,
right,
toward where the car was. And when they got there, Shecky rolls down the window and says, "No wax." Let's take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
That's fine.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
My basement was a disaster. We tried carpet, we tried tile on our uneven basement floor, but nothing worked.
Moisture, dampness, even flooding will not harm Nature Stone. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of June and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
But show tomorrow night from WKYC.com. On Wednesday, we've got a guy, the big ceremony during All-Star Week involving Rocky Colavito. We'll talk about that on Wednesday.
Cool.
And then he would have been before your time, right?
I mean, I saw him. I mean, I met him. But yeah, that was before my time.
All right, then the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will be here on Thursday. All right, speaking of quickies, I'm going to throw some quickie questions at you.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Do the Cleveland Indians get to the postseason, wild card, or winning the division?
Yes, I think they do.
As long as you're there, which one?
I think they still can win the Central.
I do too.
I don't know.
Isn't that crazy? Sounds
I've
like
been
a homer,
around the
but
game. I've been around the game so long that I just think they still have a shot.
I mean, if Clevinger is Clevinger again, they're right back in, and I don't know if they're going to get Kluber back. All right, the Cleveland Browns, do they make the postseason?
Yes, I don't think there's even
as a wild card or as a champ of the division.
I'm going to say as a wild card because I think we're going to bite it off slow. I still think we've got things that this team's going to have to go through, some growing pains, some coaching pains. 10 wins. If that can win the Central, that wins the Central. But I'm thinking 9, 10 wins.
I like Freddie
enough
Kitchens.
to get to the wild card.
I like Freddie Kitchens, but he's my biggest concern
He's
on
mine
this
too.
team.
I don't have
and that's not
anything against
saying
him.
yeah, me neither.
No, it's not, and it's not.
The job
him.
is big.
It's the resume. It's what's up against the resume. I think Freddie can do it, but I think there are going to be pitfalls in his leadership ability that he's going to find out that he just isn't expecting, and I don't know how you train for that.
Well, I think it's too big a job for a first-year coach to be offensive coordinator calling plays also, but we'll see. That could change. Cavaliers, do they actually make the 5th pick in the draft, or did they do something up, down,
They make
trade?
the 5th pick, but the 2nd pick in the draft, they're going to end up moving up. They'll end up trading. I think they'll end up trading JR's contract. They'll move up. I think they'll end up somewhere back in the teens. We'll see what happens there. And Jeff and I discussed this. I think a solid play for them would be, especially with Philadelphia, because Philadelphia has multiple picks. Atlanta has 6 picks, 3 in the first, 3 in the second. I think they go heavy early in the 2nd round because those contracts aren't guaranteed.
2nd round is a big crapshoot.
It is, but if there are guys that are looking at that could be crapshoots, they're going to go early 2nd round trying to pick up a pick.
Right.
Philadelphia is the team to watch.
We got to go. Andy Baskin did a great job tonight, does a great job every day, Monday through Friday, 10 to 2. That's on Baskin and Phelps on 92.3 The Fan. I'll see you tomorrow night. Bud Shaw will join us of all the shows I've ever done. This was the most recent.